Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Adventures of FoxFoil. Today we are starting off in the Guardian farm that we built last time, and today we are not going to be spending much time here, but I did need to pick up my beacon before starting today's episode. While we're over here, I want to craft up a couple of blocks using the leftover items from last time, just in case we want to use them in today's episode. I think we'll craft up some dark prismarine blocks and some sea lanterns. Well, I think that should just about do it. First up, I've got to repair my tools and armor because after building the Guardian farm, my armor was pretty low on durability and we don't want that breaking on us. Probably should drop these off before we get started on the second project. For this next project, we are going to need to get some leads, and they should be over here somewhere. There they are. Not sure why they're in with the maps. We are also going to need to get a few of these polished diorite blocks and craft up a couple of slabs. A couple of episodes ago, we built this park around our mob farm and added a couple of sniffers to be able to live in this area. But they have not been very cooperative about staying inside of it, which may have something to do with this giant entrance that they can just walk through. So what we need to do is go off and find where the sniffers ended up at and then return them to their home and make it so that they can't get out of here anymore. All right, we found two of them, and it looks like they are stuck down here because they aren't able to jump up the 2 blocks to be able to get out. So let's see what we can do, and hopefully they won't fall down into the ravine. All right, let's connect the lead. Come on, you can do it. There we go, there we are, bouncing along. Come on. All right, well, that was relatively painless. Whoops, spoke too soon. All right, let's get the lead. Try again. Come on. We've got to return you home. I don't think they were meant to walk this fast. Before we go get the second one, I want to do a little bit of an experiment to see if my idea will work to keep them in. So my thought is, if we place these blocks here, they won't be able to get over them because it's 1.5 blocks, and they won't be able to fit because this is just a 1 block gap. So let's go get our friend and see what will happen if he tries to walk through. Oh, look at this. I don't think we've had one of these before. Torch flower seeds. That's something to keep a hold of. Thank you very much. Come along. We've got to do a little test. The moment of truth. Will they fit through? It does not look like they will. All right. We're going to be able to save them from going and getting into danger. All right, it's now time for number 2. So the first 2 are relatively easy to find because I'd seen them. But the next one is going to be a little bit tricky because I don't know exactly where it is. Although, if you watched the video where I built the storage room and this building, you may have noticed that one of the sniffers was in the background over around by one of these hills. And so we should look around here to see if we can find it. Aha! Here it is, all the way down here. And we are going to need to figure out a way to get it back up. All right, had to take a little bit of a staircase to get him out, but now he is safe and we just need to return him. There we go. We've returned the 3 sniffers to their area, and there was a 4th, but I have searched everywhere and cannot find the 4th one. And I think we may have lost him, so we are just down to 3. But with all of the side quests completed, it's now time for the main project. And to explain today's project, we need to get a little perspective. So I'm up on top of the mob farm, and looking down, you can see our bamboo farm over here and the cactus farm over here. And the idea when I started expanding this area was to have a farm in this corner, and then over on this side, there'd be one in matching corners over here. And as you can see, there are no farms there presently, but that's going to change starting today because we are going to be building the farm that is going to go in this corner right here. The farm we are going to be building today is going to allow us to farm warp stems a lot easier than what we've been doing in the past, which is important because for all of these builds, we use warp stems a lot. I mean, we've got some stuff over here, we've got some stuff up there, there's even some all the way up this tower. So having an easier way to collect it is going to be really important for all of our future builds. The first thing that we need to do is make sure that the center of this build lines up with the center of this one over here and is in line with the mob farm. And the block we are looking for is -145, -1815. So let's see, we are on 146, there's 145, and then 1815 is this one right here. And let's just go ahead and place the ender chest there so that we don't lose it. I've replaced the ender chest with this pile of stone, and as you can see, it's in a pretty low area and we want it to be on the same level as the other farms. So we are going to want the build to be on this level right here, and we'll need to extend this all the way around so it loops up and connects with the lake here. Plus, we're going to have to level this hill as well. It's a good thing I like digging up a bunch of dirt. Now that we have the basic terraforming completed, we are ready to start building the farm. This hole in the center is where we are going to place the mechanism that will power our farm. So let's get the mechanism built up, and then I will explain how it's going to work. Here is the completed mechanism, and it's made up of two different components. The first part is this dispenser here in the center, and what that dispenser will do is dispense bone meal onto the nylium above it and cause it to have all of the plants generate on top, which we can see happen by pressing this button here. After all of the plants have generated on top, what we can do to automatically harvest them is press this button here, which activate the pistons over on this side, pushing everything across, and then all of these items can be collected up. We then press this button to dispense more bone meal, and finally this one over here to push all of the blocks back into place. But while that's good for collecting the warp stems, what about the crimson stems? That's where the second part of the mechanism comes in, and that we can see here by pressing this button, which causes the blocks to rotate. And if we press them long enough, we should be able to see that the crimson nylium will start to appear. And we can now repeat the process except with the crimson nylium and get all of the crimson plants and just press the pistons to be able to harvest them. The one downside to this mechanism is that by feeding through the blocks, it does result in some of them despawning as nylium, and so we have to go through with bone meal to replace them. Now that the technical part is completed, let's do something a little more interesting, the decorating, which means we need to first collect a bunch of deep slate and warped stems. Then it's time to craft up all of the blocks, including polished deep slate brick, deep slate tiles, all the deep slate stairs, walls, and slabs. We also need to get blackstone, cyan, glass, tough, nether brick, dark prismarine, and a few other types of blocks as well. Well, I think that just about does it. Let's go ahead and get started with the building. I've got the build completed, and I think this is going to work really well for the farm that we are going to put in here. I've filled in the space around the farm, and it doesn't look quite so incomplete as before. I do have these trapdoors to be able to access the buttons in case we want to activate any of the pistons, and we've got the 3 over here as well. So that way, if we want to use the farm or we want to rotate it so that we can get some crimson stems, it's really easy to do. It is pretty convenient to have this build right here because we can look straight across and see our new farm and new build, and I think it's going to be really good to have this. It's going to make getting the warp stems much easier, and we are going to need those because they're going to be used throughout the builds that we put in the rest of the city. But I think that's where we are going to leave it for today's episode. If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave a like. If you want to see more, please subscribe. And until next time, see you later.